Welcome to the scene, it's your host TTP. We're flying high in the crypto sky, you and me. From Bitcoin rush to Ethereum, we traded all the coins with the trading Parrot, be making that joyful noise. We got bots, we got plots, charts on the big screen. 3 comments to Wick, Hunter with a trading machine. Laughing all the way to the bank, it's a fun parade. With every trade we made, watch how we get paid. TTP's got the formula, flipping coins like a spatula. In the crypto game, with the vernacular, spectacular. From the morning to the night, we're streaming with the light, trying to trading Parrot. We'll teach you how to fight. Dive into the charts, the RSI, liquidity at a glance, trends on the rise. We never leave it up to chance. All trading tools of the champion breed. With AI and math, we're planting the money seed. Laugh with us, trade with us, ain't no looking back. You're with the Parrot now, leading the pack. Alpha profits, snap plus with the crypto law. TTP's on the mic and he's ready to soar. TTP's on the mic and he's ready to soar. TTP's got the formula, flipping coins like a spatula. In the crypto game with the vernacular, spectacular. From the morning to the night, we're streaming with the light. Join the trading Parrot. We'll teach you how to fight. Dive into the charts.
Hello guys, welcome to the Trading Parrot and to another stream. Today is Tuesday and we are seeing a little bit of price action on Bitcoin. In today's stream, we're going to cover price action of Bitcoin and we're going to, of course, take all your requests of altcoins. I'm going to do TA on all the altcoins and we have a special guest. Anthony is coming. The CEO and founder of Market Monkey Terminal is going to join us in around 20 minutes and we're going to go and do an overview of the tool, learn a little bit more of how to use it, all the different indicators that it offers, how to get access to it, how to interpret all this data all together, and possibly even, why not, we're going to do some TA together. So stay tuned, just maybe 20 minutes, 15 minutes from time now. And in the meantime, let's go and let's look at the price action, what's going on. Let me know in the comments which coins you want to request. Of course, this is going to be a Q&A, and you can request any coins that you want me to review, including anything specifically about Bitcoin that you want me to cover as well. So the more noise, of course, the more you comment, the more you like and hit the like on the video, it's better for the YouTube algorithm. So I really appreciate if you can do that for me. In the meantime, I'm observing at the 4-hour time frame. Let me magnify this. Am I sharing the screen? Yep, perfect, all good. So I want to, let me share this. Let's share the chart. This is the chart that we need to show, something like this. Perfect, cool. So as you can see, there is an ongoing battle at the moment to break beyond the RSI 4-hour resistance. In the morning, I gave you an update that we were still below that resistance, and we tried, let me remember, when was that? On Monday at 2 p.m., we were trying to break that, but we failed. We came back below resistance, formed a new double bottom, and from that double bottom, we are having currently an attempt. This is a live candle, so there's still some time to close it. I think there's a little bit less than 2 hours left to close above that resistance, and that's a great indication. If you didn't miss the video in the morning, what I was saying is that the best option we have currently for the daily to have a revenge rally, let me show you which revenge is a very specific one, is from this ascending wedge. So let's say we go into that 75 on the daily RSI, that can push the price all the way at the moment to 116K. So that is just in the context still of a revenge rally. And that can, within the price, we also have an ascending wedge, but that can have the effect of covering all the way to the top of the wedge, exiting a little bit from above. And at that point, I'm interested to see if that is a rejection back inside the wedge or a rejection back below the wedge two different outcomes that could be very decisive on where we are going next. After all, we are in an ascending wedge. We are breaking out, so the context is very bullish as well. We are still holding this 105.6, not breaking back inside the range. That's something bullish. And if we get into that 116, of course, that's a new all-time high. It's a new high for the structure of the market is still bullish, and that opens the door for the next target, which is also pretty cool. If you look at the RSI from the distance, we got points 1, 2, 3, 4, and this is the fifth push in all the cycle towards the top end of the daily RSI. And we've been diminishing those values. And if we can make it beyond the revenge, which is just getting to 75, 76 actually, 76, stop there. And that is the final nail in the coffin for a channel down that can still put new highs in the price, but a channel down is very significant in the way we can trade things. If we get to the 76 and we go beyond this, we are reclaiming at the top end, and that has a very high likelihood of hitting RSI daily 85. That's top of the range. And at 85 is where the daily can even reach 131K. So I'm paying a lot of attention on this, particularly because we are seeing a lot of selling pressure coming in here. We managed to get into 110.7, and we are seeing some selling that push the price even below the 110 for a second, and that's definitely kind of pushing back inside the resistance of the RSI, and that is also significant. If we are pushed back inside here, this is just a rejection, but it's also ugly because it's going to leave a very big wick on the 4 hour. That could mean that the 44 is still on the table. That is coming up higher and higher. We just visit that at 2 a.m. So if the 44 support meets the price after a rejection, so that's a scenario B, we can get into around 107. At this point, since it's coming higher, is 107.8. So that will be just support, still nothing broken. You can see on the RSI 4 hour coming into 44, somewhere around here. That's still support. From there is still even a higher low. So we can break out after. But, I'm getting ahead of myself, right? The price action at the moment is still a breakout. It can still happen. I'm just preparing us for the scenario of a potential rejection, even though it's not clear yet that there can be a rejection. We always have to be kind of with one foot in one side, in the other side, in case something goes wrong. How do we handle those risks? How do we mitigate them? And I think that's very important. So on the daily, that is the case. On the 4 hour, that is that. We got the revenge on the daily. We have the bearish cross on the MACD. We exit from the top of the cross-V ratio, which every time that we exit from this end of the cross-V ratio, we start doing a little bit more of a decline in the price. So that's why I'm not discarding these highs, but I'm saying if we get to those highs, I'm kind of prepared for a little bit more of volatility, not just to the upside, but also to the downside as well. Everything looks healthy on the weekly. I think I covered that in the morning. Let's have a look at liquidation levels. So there is a little bit more of oil in between the price and the top end of liquidity pools at 112 to 13. We covered that in the morning. That has not changed at all. And let's see if we go into the order book. Remember, we're going to cover Market Monkey Terminal. Don't miss that part of the video in around 15 minutes, we could say, when Anthony is going to join me and we'll go in detail on this tool, how to use it. And on high block capital, at the moment, we see the selling pressure is not that big, by the way. I mean, it's just a 0.01 of ask ratio. Usually a top is formed with at least 0.08 in the recent price action. That's past performance, but just to give you something to have a relative idea. And longs are at the lows of 36, so some of them took profits. And we have the shorts at higher risk of liquidation in the short proximity of the price. And let's see fire charts. Let me refresh this one as well. I want to see how the order book is looking. As we go higher, where is the incentive to short at the moment? We have some orders at 111 that just appeared in the chart in the last half an hour with 600. That's a pretty decent volume. And on the monthly, well, it got a little bit heavier. I think it was around the 40s and now it's 45 and 49. So it has increased a little bit more the selling on the top end. We don't have fair value gaps. So that is kind of a summary of where we are at the moment on Bitcoin. I'm just going to look at the questions. Chewing gum as a reference. You should all guys practice to walk and chew gum. Conquer multi-time frame trading. I think that is critical. BNB is ripping it off today. Yep, I put out today a video. You shouldn't miss it. About the altcoins BNB. I did Tron, and I did a new coin I have never done, which is called Form and GameFi, and I did Quant. Quant is a coin that I haven't traded in a long time, but I'm keeping an eye because it's doing big things as well. If you don't want to miss that, go into those videos. Obviously, I'm not going to do TA of these specific coins because that's already covered in the video this morning. But anything apart from that, if you have any request, I'm seeing that someone is asking for virtual and spatula time. That's funny. And okay, so I'm going to start with virtual. That's going to be the first coin. And let's go to the charts, virtual. Let's do it on Binance Perpetual. Oh gosh, why is this changing? Let's change it back to, is it called virtuals? Yeah, let's do it on Mix. See, yeah, I got my lines in here. And I was probably doing daily because it's got a very short history. And whoa, it has done big things. So it's managing to get to the next resistance at 2.5. And on weekly, no, I cannot look at RSI on weekly. There's just too little information. So on daily, let's place this like that. So there was a breakout on the daily. That started on Sunday. And since then, it has moved. Let me zoom in this. So it's more or less from there. So it has done a 25% since the breakout on Sunday. And the RSI has moved to 71. And the area, we're not going to get that high, I think. I don't think we're going to get to 92, but I'm happy to be wrong. We went to 95 in October. Okay. And how was this rally? This rally was, let's clean this area. Let me put it back to weekly. Maybe this was not that bad. Yeah, there were some, the breakout on the weekly was on 14th of April. And it's been going up. And on daily, which is the one I'm analyzing now, this is just Sunday. And it's getting very close to 2.5. And that it's meeting with the neckline of this bearish pattern that we formed in January. That play out, and well, we have, no, it's not a cap and handle. It will have been nice if we get first to 2.5, we see a rejection back into $2, and then we come back to fully form it. But I still think that this is a bullish pattern. It is not a cap and handle, definitely, but the high from here to bottom is, oops. Let's move it like that. It can take us up to $4.6, and that's the highest close. Wow. Yeah. That's an additional That's an additional 85% from where we are. Let's look at the healthiness of this. So it's attracting a lot of retail. So that at early stages of a rally is great. It's kind of to start the fire. You get retail to come in, like in this area here where there's some profit taking and then you carry on up. But when the socials have had a period on the weekly of hitting uh, the socials too much, it gets overcrowded. And we notice that it's overcrowded when the longs versus shorts get too close to the highs of too many longs, right? And in the past, in April, we made it to 73, then we made it to 77, I will say. And let's put a trend line. Let's imagine that we get here and we get to 82. That will be beyond the percentiles. So the percentiles are saying up to 80. But I will say in this area, the risk starts going nuts, right? Because you are attracting, the formula is you are attracting a lot of people from social media, from being a coin that attracts 0.08% at the lows, and now you're getting into 0.40, which is an increase of socials of 470%. So that's how much this is attracting people, and that is a recipe for disaster to enter late. So is if you're already allocated and you're looking for exits, start thinking about where is your exit. Even though you have this breakout in here and we could make it to the 4-6, there's going to be at some point some shakes. These shakes in here are 37%. This one is 39. So get ready for something within those ranges. And we got plenty of new requests, but I'm gonna do before any of that, I'm gonna do ONDO. Someone was asking me, multiple people asked for ONDO. Let me see if I have virtuals in here in liquidation levels. Cool. 30 days. So below the price, we are at 243, and below the price, we have 1872. That is a big liquidation level, 1872. So it's more or less around here. And that will mean a move down of 23%. That's the highest level of liquidation. Just watch out with that. That's just where the risk is. It's not a forecast necessarily. And let's go with ONDO. I think I look at ONDO this morning, and we're kind of just going sideways at the moment. The structure is still not broken on the daily. Let's see on the weekly. I don't think it's broken on the weekly either. We are still respecting the move up. We managed to complete a revenge rally on the weekly, which is great. So we got to 53. Socials are pretty low. Longs and shorts are in the median. So there's not necessarily a point that is of interest. We're just here in the middle. And what we need to see now on ONDO, we need to have a breakout over 54 on the RSI. That is going to, confirm that there is further upside from here. And if you think about it, from these highs, you do all of this. So it will be kind of natural to think that we can have another wave up that goes beyond a move so shallow like this. This is just too little. And we are still defending the structure, the longer term structure in here is being defended. We are bouncing from support. So I will expect this to, after having been sold from 112 and going into 0.90, that we do another attempt, at least with 111 to get into 140, to that range around there. So how do we confirm the breakout in here? If I'm already in a position and I see a breakout of 54, then I hold on strong to what I have. If I get to this resistance, I don't enter there. I don't long resistance. If I break out and I get a retest, well, I have an entry a little bit less risk. But the ideal situation is that you enter in accumulation area and that now you're looking for the answer to, should I hold it longer or should I flip it to other coin or just sell it? Kind of that approach with this amount of risk that we see in here. So 54, where is that in the price? Let's go and look for that to see if we can leave a number there to confirm the breakout. Well, we got confluence, right? 112 is resistance, and RSI says if you close 112, well, we kind of unblock upside. Not necessarily saying what is the upside, what is the specific upside, but upside into next levels of resistance, 138, 164, and yeah. All right. Let's look at liquidation levels for ONDO. Cool. Let's reduce this, and oh, we got 3 months. That's perfect. And in here, 30 days. So on the 30 days, the risk is at 88 cents. What is the highest one? I think the $1, around the $1 is here. This is 97, I will say. And on the 3 months, there's a pretty intense level at 81 of liquidation. Where is that in the price? So we are at 95. 81 is around here. What happened there? Let me zoom in. Why 81 is so heavy in liquidity? Okay, because it was 4 weeks in a row that we didn't touch it. Then we went up. So those guys got lucky to enter in a decent move up. Price has come down, but it hasn't taken that liquidity. So it's still located at 81 and is currently the risk of this move down. So if it doesn't hold the 89, that 81 could get impacted next. That's the risk. So if you are at 81 entry, watch out losing the 89 on a weekly close basis, because that could move further to the 81 just attracted by that liquidity. Right. BNB flying to 700. Okay, let me just quickly look at the chart of BNB. Cool. Yeah. This morning it was looking pretty bullish, and it seems to be at the moment challenging the 59 RSI that I took in the morning. That would be amazing if we can close above 700. Then we are reclaiming lost support, and we are breaking out from the white line. The combination of both is just really cool. And as I said in the morning, let's keep an eye on longs versus shorts, although it's not that overheated yet. Thinking that just in November, we went to 71 and we are at 57% longs. That is kind of okay. This could run a little bit longer, but this is an intra-candle, okay? So the guys that are getting excited, entering in here is extremely risky. If you are going to enter in a small position and you're willing to see some drawdown and enter with more lower, the usual story, yeah, that's fine. But if you want to enter in here big, watch out your risk. Think about where you're going to put the stop loss, because the thing can retrace as big as it went up as well. Right. 8% already up. Thanks, Mariano. Kevin is saying, and open a great bot on BNB this morning. Thanks for your video. That's great. Mariano, puedes mirar FET. Let's have a look at FET. And if you can chew gum and walk at the same time, or if you can speak multiple languages, that is also amazing. And if you can play multiple instruments too, whoa, that's even better. All right, so Fetch.ai. Let's have a look at the price action first. Let's do what everybody will do. So everybody will do something like this and say we're waiting for the breakout. We are reclaiming 80 cents. That was previous resistance and support. That's great too. And we have a next level of resistance and psychological level at $1. And it has approached that up until 98.4. And it saw a rejection. Now we are trying for a second time, just the week after. Okay, that's cool. Previous price action. This is October 2021. This is March 2023. What were we doing in 2024? Okay, that is the part that I didn't like about Fetch, which is on March having a higher high relative to December. So it's a structure coming down. It has accumulated. It's looking like it could potentially break the 1.3. And the thing that makes me think that way is this breakout on the weekly. So think about this. I look at this as if it was a window into the future for the price potentially to follow up on that and eventually seeing the same thing happening to the price and getting into 165. That will be amazing, right? So that's already an 83%. Once the price breaks out in here, a lot of people are going to get attracted and look at the longs versus shorts on Fetch. It's increasing already from being at 26 into 42. But if you look at any other coin, they are already very overheated. So the thing I ignore, because I'm not the kind of guy of fundamentals, I'm trying to push myself to read more about the coins, to know a bit more of fundamentals, but I still prefer to trade with technicals. But it's good to know what the hell is going on with a coin as well. And in this particular coin, I ignore why the longs pull out so big on Fetch. So if you know the story, if there was some fat going on or some really bad thing to the people in maintaining this coin, but it went really quiet from being 3.7% of social dominance, going back down. It went to 0.082. So literally no one talking about Fetch at some point. And the longs clearly pull out as well. So they are clearly no longer in a long position. We got the bottom information, the breakout that looks bullish. That's great. And watch out for hitting the resistance of 1.3. Many people are going to be looking at what happens at that point. And let's look at Fed on liquidation levels. Let's try to be as quick as possible. And we got that. Clearly, the 0.6 to 0.58 is the heaviest, but for a shorter term move down, we got 80 and 7. So 8 and 7 are also important. Let's look where that is. Where was the lowest one? It was like 0.58, I think I say 58. Wait a second. So where is that? It should be halfway through here. So I guess it's the same thing. When this rally started from here, it's tracking that. But definitely liquidity is going to be in every order block. When you start a move up, you leave huge liquidity there. That's kind of the obvious one. But the one that is interesting is this 58 that's probably located around here before this candle. At that point, there is decent liquidity from the past 3 months. So remember that. Unfortunately, not all these coins are on trading difference, so we cannot look at the longer term to get some additional edge there. On socials, yeah, very low, now hitting a local high, but definitely Fetch needs to move way higher. And let's see what it did in the past. So it was very quiet in 2021, very quiet up until 2022. And it started pinching the Bollinger Band, attracting more people. Eventually, it can have a blow off top of socials. And at that point, still the price wouldn't have exploded. So the explosion came after. So it attracted a lot of people, they accumulated, and then there was the explosion. So think about that story and look for repetition of some of those patterns, particularly the social ones tend to play out like a cycle of things. we can look at others as well. Let's look at others. I can cover that. Let's look at others. I think I have all the altcoins in here. And let's look at the altcoin season. Interestingly, we're back into Bitcoin season, and good that the USDT dominance, my chart of USDT dominance against total 3 dominance, which is a chart that was suggested by someone from my Patreon. It didn't come up to me. He point me in this direction. I saw certain patterns in here. It looks like you have like some sort of virus in the face, but all these dots, I see them matching of the previous cycle with this cycle. Yeah, they both have a falling wedge, and we were kind of shaking in this area because we were scared to death that this was gonna start skyrocketing from the top of the wedge, because that is literally entering a bear market if that happened. When that happened in January 2022, that was the case. But instead of that, we have come back inside the wedge. So far, we are holding strong there. But you ask for others, and others, I have it here. Let me just refresh the chart. And I can hear that Anthony just joined. I'm going to bring you in just in a second, as soon as I finish with this analysis. So, others has broken out from the falling wedge. It has met with the first tough resistance at $270 billion. And the rally is looking healthy from the momentum point of view. As you can see here, is defending just the most bullish support. You can survive pinching that low, but you can see that it hasn't even needed to do that. Now, at the moment, we have some weeks to the upside in here. So there is a little bit of a battle. It's good that we took the first fair value gap. So that's out of the way. If price now wants to go for liquidity on the lower end, it's going to need a good bearish narrative to hit the second one, which is way lower at 220 billion. And everything is already balanced, as you can see. The candles are overlapping everywhere. So we have cleared the way to continue moving higher, assuming that Bitcoin behaves as well, and general markets too. So I think this should continue going higher. And let's look at the dominance, because that dominance is also relevant in here. I haven't checked the dominance this week. So we haven't put a new high from the recent highs of 65%, but it got bought up from 61.90 all the way up in here. So that's quite bullish, because I'm already seeing kind of it's crossing the 0.5 Fibonacci for sure, and being held probably at the golden pocket. And if it carries on a little bit higher, we are risking to get another high in the Bitcoin dominance, which is not great. So we had the combination of the Bitcoin dominance in the candle chart looking bullish. In the momentum, it has lost a big battle in here, right? So it broke down. So momentum is saying is to the downside, but sometimes price takes some time to catch up with that. And sometimes there is a disagreement, and the price says, no, I lost momentum, but I don't care. I'm still going to break the top and put a new high. It's less likely at the moment with how this looks. It looks more like we are going to carry on with the momentum lower, and within a context of bearish divergences, meaning that most likely we're going to put lower highs and lower lows on the momentum, but maybe the price can put a new high. I'm open to the idea of seeing a Bitcoin dominance hitting 66 or slightly higher, still with a channel down on the momentum. And USDT coming down, broke down, so that has already played out. It has already been bullish. We noticed that on 28th of April, the breakdown of USDT dominance. And yeah, that's kind of the overall look. I'm going to do more TA, but now I'm going to need the help of Anthony, which I'm going to bring in now. Hello, Anthony. How are you doing?
Yo, hey, I'm fine. What about you?
I'm very good. Very nice to meet you. Um, you are the founder and COO of a Market Monkey Terminal, correct? Is that your title at the moment?
Yeah, it's not really. We're just starting out, so calling it CEO or founder is. Well, yeah. If you want to say it so, yes. I started creating Market Monkey like back in January, early this year, and it was just basically a side project, right? I just like to build these kind of things, and but it certainly got traction by the community, and people seems
How
to
long
love
have you been doing this?
it. Market Monkey, or just in general?
Market Monkey specifically.
I think 4.5 months.
Only 4.5 months. Are you using AI to help you speed up the development? Because this is really impressive.
I wish AI could help me. The problem is that the reason why Market Monkey is different from all the others is because I'm using like a special programming language. I'm not going to make it too technical because, but it's like most of these applications like TradingView and what do you have others like Kiyatoka and all these other stuff. They are basically built with JavaScript, and my Market Monkey is built with something else, and it's kind of niche, and AI doesn't really understand it. How it cannot help me most of the time. That's annoying. Otherwise, maybe I could be way further than I am right now.
You probably need a custom model there to help you, to train it in that language and all that stuff. And also, so in 4 months you build this. So what brought you into this area of building this? You've been building other systems for trading before?
Yeah. So basically, I'm actually like some kind of a crypto OG that disappeared for a while. I started like entering the crypto space after Bitcoin pumped in 2017. So I completely missed that pump. But it was Bitcoin gained a lot of traction, right? And especially for developers like me, like Bitcoin technology was something special. And it got my attention, and I was basically digging around in my free time, like how it works. And I came across some other communities. For example, not quite sure if you know the Neo blockchain, which they called the Chinese Ethereum back in the day. I came across the people that basically created that, and they hired me to build some algorithms for their consensus algorithm, consensus engine. And that basically kickstarted my career in crypto. Worked for some exchanges, decentralized exchanges as well. Came into trading light 2 years ago. And then I founded another company, and I sold my shares, yada, 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 yada. And now I'm building this Market Monkey thing. You know what I mean? Hopefully, I can build something that people can actually just use one tool instead of basically having
100 billion
open.
tools. Yeah.
Yeah, it's just crazy to see like what. If I see your tabs on your browser, it's like insane. Like how the hell does your PC run with all these tabs, man? It's crazy.
That's, well, the magic of the Mac with tons of RAM, I guess. Yeah, absolutely. I have a question. So can you share the screen and run us, including myself, because I have tons of questions about Market Monkey Terminal, how to interpret certain things, which things you see people using more often. So do you see a share screen? And if you're okay with sharing?
Yeah, I'm gonna close some tabs first.
Yeah. Clean all the forbidden stuff first.
Yeah, I see Sophie Rain here and all that stuff, so I'm gonna make sure that's gone.
Yeah.
And
guys, if you're in the stream as well, if you have any questions for Anthony, just drop them in the comments. We're going to be showing them on the screen as well.
How do I share my screen here?
There should be, you can press the H letter, or there is a bubble in the middle that shows an arrow up. That's for sharing screen.
Oh, yeah. God damn it. Technology, huh?
You tell me.
Let me share this one. Yeah. You hear? Can you see that?
Yeah. We just need to enable it. Yeah, I enable it now. Good. Cool. We can see the screen.
Yeah, nice.
So
Tell me what
I
you
always see your screen, and I always see that you're using different things than me. So you have different colors, different indicators, but I'm also curious how you use it and how you see the people succeeding with the tool so far.
Yeah, that's a good question. So basically, first of all, I'm not like a crazy experienced trader. So I have some experience. I know how things work, but basically, I would not copy me.
Okay, fair enough.
I'm the cook. I'm just a cook.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah. So basically, first of all, let me remove some stuff here. Yeah, that can. So one of the major parts of Market Monkey is the heat map, right? So you have this heat map thing which works on all pairs, and that's something that I like to use. And for the people that don't know what a heat map is, it's basically a snapshot, a snapshot of the order book in a point in time, right? So here you can see like the 15-minute chart. You can go to the 1 minute as well, right? If you're on the 1 minute, each minute it takes a snapshot of the order book, right? And then you can actually see not the liquidations, but the liquidity. Is a lot of misunderstanding by people with liquidation heat maps, which in my opinion are not really accurate. But these are liquidity heat maps. This is basically the representation of the order book in a point in time, right? And yeah, that's something that I'll use to check, like, okay, where this, for example, this area here, you see there's a lot of ask liquidity here, and you can see that price just doesn't want to dip into it, these things. That's an important tool, and you can aggregate this as well, right? You can say, for example, I want Binance, OKX, Coinbase, Bybit. Now you have an aggregated heat map, right, across all.
I love the aggregated view. I just wish that it stayed like that once I save the layout, because I hit save, but every time I come back to the same layout, it's back to not aggregated. But maybe you do that because of costs. I don't know.
No, the thing is, people are complaining in the beginning that these values are not being saved, but you need to understand that these values are based on like each ticket, for example, Ethereum, Bitcoin, Doge, or something else. They all have their sizes in the books, right? And if we're gonna save all that stuff, and you, for example, I disabled it right now, but if you want to change, for example, to Ethereum, and you have your same config applied, what's going to happen is that you're going to have the Bitcoin values still in your config, and that's not going to be. You're going to have something like this, like a complete yellow thing. So that's why I cannot save them. And each day is different, right? So, for example, it could be that the max size is like, I don't know, like 25K. But tomorrow it could be way less because the books are different each and every day. You know what I mean? So that's why we cannot save them.
Yeah, I get what you mean. And apart from the heat map, what would you say is the number 2, number 3 most popular feature?
Yeah, so right now the platform is very focused on order flow. So you have, for example, which I'm very proud of, is the footprints, right?
Yeah.
So the footprint specific for order flow. That's a very popular feature. You're gonna have footprints cluster, profile. You can change deltas, volumes. You can do a lot of stuff here.
This one is not free. This one is not free, no?
Yeah, footprints are free. Basically, everything is free. The only thing that's not free is, for example, if you want to have a multiple, you can, for example, like have like a bunch of charts. This one is delisted, I see. Let me over a DOM or an order book. You see these widget, right? You can place them wherever you want. But in the free version, I think you can have only 4 widgets, while in the pro version, you can actually have unlimited widgets, right? You can just stack them. I have a small screen, but if you have a big monitor, you can have basically like a shit ton of things open. And some small advanced settings are also only for pro users. For example, these. What's going on here? So I need to enable fixed ticks. For example, this.
Mm-hmm.
This is basically like a grading and scaling for your footprints. I'm not going to go into detail in this, but it's a very advanced feature where you can set a custom anchor or, for example, daily. And it's going to grade your footprints based on the daily session and all that stuff, right? And besides that, something that's also very popular is the what is it called? Yeah, the VSPV indicator. Let me open up 15 here. You see,
Yeah.
which basically accumulates some volume for each daily session, giving you like a value area high and low and a point of control and all that stuff, right? But it's very order flow specific. Not quite sure how your audience is familiar with order flow. Maybe a couple will be, but I don't want to go into detail because
Yeah, I mean, I tend to mix everything, every single technique that actually ends up working for me. Um, yeah, definitely the volume profile range is something I use. I don't use the one that opens every with every session or stuff like that. I just set it in a fixed range,
I
and
use the VP,
yeah,
this one,
yeah,
the
and usually
volume,
for
this thing.
I use it for big ranges as well. So I
Yeah.
see some people that they even put it in the 15 minutes, 5 minutes, and they do crazy things with that. Um, I personally use it to trade the range in on the daily time frame. That's how I use it, and I use it in a fixed range. So it's you know it's a more basic way to also, because I have to incorporate it with tons of other things that I also do. So I try to not go too deep in the rabbit hole, I guess.
Yeah, I see you using a lot of tools. Like you use basically every single tool in the book. A lot of platforms as well, right?
Yeah, but I tend to, for example, I use what is it called? ABC waves, Heliot waves,
Yeah,
Elliott
yeah, yeah.
waves, and but I don't use it extensively. I don't use all the patterns and all the things, but the basic ones, the ones that have confluence with other things. So if I spot an ABC pattern or a fifth wave, and at the same time I'm seeing that something is changing in the momentum, then I want to be aware of that. It's not like I want to trade every single Elliott wave, but I want to be aware here.
Yeah, yeah, makes sense.
They and I like to classify other traders knowing what they're thinking. Like if they are thinking, we're on the fifth wave, we need to correct here. And I tend to think the Elliott wave crowd is probably thinking this. And I like to have that in the back of my head, even if it's just to take advantage sometimes.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff in trading that people like ICT and like these Wyckoff theories and Elliott waves and I don't know. Like I said, I'm just a cook. And yeah, just buy at good levels, huh? What do you think?
Can you show us one of the coins? Let's say, let me go through the comments. Guys, if you have any altcoins that you would like to analyze with Market Monkey Terminal, do you have TIA, that coin listed?
TIA.
Yeah.
Not quite sure. We still need to add a bunch of coins. No, I don't think so. No.
Can we do
Yeah.
SUI? SUI.
Yeah. Sui Binance.
Yeah.
Wait, let me just type it in because this is just a mess. Let us be honest. I need to fix this. I think that's a mess. Yeah. Let me open up the heat map a little bit. You see, I need to spot it, right? Oh, this is beautiful. Look at that.
Yeah.
Filter the noise. Okay, cool. Yes.
Well, there I can see 3 clusters of volume, very similar to what Bitcoin has been doing. I was looking at that in the morning. Are we seeing SUI? Let me magnify this because, yeah, we are. And you're showing us the open interest. So the open interest has taken a dip right there. And that was as the price was going down and building that wick to the downside. So I will assume that longs got liquidated there with this recent candle going down and then coming back up, and the
This
open
one, yeah.
interest, yeah, and the open interest going down And you also showing the CBD, which are aggressive buyers reduced. Yeah, they were probably forced out in that move down of the open interest.
Man, that's crazy that you can see all of that stuff, man. Like, that's insane.
It's very useful, the tool. So you can see all these things together. So, and also condensed with the heat map and everything. So it's kind of my brain starts going fast with these things, and really useful. So let's do one thing, Anthony. Let's try to wrap up the kind of showing what the tool can do, and then maybe I can do some more altcoins from my end and do some TA to wrap the live stream. Is that okay?
That's perfect.
So maybe just 5 minutes showcase the most insane.
Yeah, I think 2 minutes. 2 minutes will do. Yeah, it's not too complex,
2 minutes.
right? Yeah, it's fine. So basically, for the people that know other platforms, most of the time you can do the same thing. The only difference is that our layout structure is very flexible. Like a lot of platforms, you have this limited layouts. Here you can just spin up whatever you want, right? And you can just dock it, and layout is free as you can be. So we have DOM, which is a depth of market. This is more of like order flow traders here. We have our charts. We are adding more tickers and more exchanges very soon. I think tomorrow is going to be a big update where we're going to add Bybit Inverse and all that stuff. The order books, that's what people already know, right? So the simple order book. These widgets we have trades widgets. That's all familiar stuff. Nothing too new here, right? Trade stuff, statistics, which basically is a very simple widget. I'm going to add more stuff to this, but right now it just gives you the funding rate, buy, sells, the liquidations, and then some kind of a green, red bar, which is basically a distribution of the pressure, the buy and sell pressure, market orders, right? It's actually, I don't know, I'm not a big fan of this widget, but hey, it is what it is. All right, these things. So this is actually what it can do right now. But most important thing is we have aggregated heat maps. We're going to have aggregated open interest. We're going to have aggregated CVDs. We're basically going to have aggregated trades, order books. We're going to aggregate all the things. That's coming in the next couple of weeks because a lot of people use TradingView, a lot of people use another tool, and then they use another application where all their aggregated stuff is. For example, Velo or Agger.trade or something. We just want to build everything in one application, right? After that, we're going to add scripting, right? A scripting engine. And then we're going to add trading execution as well. So basically, the goal is this year, actually, to be honest, even faster, is to build a complete terminal where you can analyze, chart, and trade.
That's fantastic. And how much do you want to cover in the platform automation? Like, for example, webhooks or alerts?
Yeah.
Things
That's
like
going
that.
to be the trading part, in the scripting part, right? So with the scripts, it's going to work the same thing like TradingView or Trading Light, where you just create a script.
Yeah.
And you can run it, and you can set an alert and all that stuff, and it's going to beep you, or a webhook, or a Telegram message, or whatever. Just like nothing new. If we're going to automatically hook your alerts, your scripts with trading execution, I'm not quite sure about that because it's like it's dangerous stuff. But we're gonna see. But like I said, I built this basically based on what the community wants, right? It's not like I have this agenda in my brain. It's basically community said, hey, listen, we need this, we need that, and I just implement it. I think that's the best way to build a good tool. Is what the users want. That's what I think.
That's fantastic, Anthony. Thanks for joining me today. If people want to contact you, the best way is on Twitter. If they want to ask you any questions or reach out for,
you can reach out on Twitter, or you can join the Market Monkey Discord. Or on my YouTube channel. It doesn't really. You can find me if you want me. You can find me. I'm always open for DMs and for the chat. So right.
Cool. Thank you so much, Anthony. And I'll see
Thank you for having
on
me.
Twitter in the next one. Take care.
Yeah.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Cheers.
All right, guys. So that was Market Monkey Terminal. I've been using it, as you know, well, with the problems that we face with trading light. That was an opportunity as well to discover new tools. And let me show you my chart. I'm gonna show you a few more altcoins that I seen that are accumulating in the questions. Jose, can we show the chart? And I'm gonna do Injective. That's one of the last requests. Injective. Let's write it well. There we go. So here is Injective. We are hitting now the loss support at $16. So that's going to be a challenge. But the good news is that this week, we are on Tuesday, and just in 2 days, we are starting to do an in-progress candle of a breakout weekly. And actually, if I place this line properly and make touch with 62 here, then you can see that, yeah, precisely this week, last Sunday, we closed below resistance, and the in progress candle has done already a move from 47.08 to 50.69. So that's a decent move up. And at the same time, we are kind of completing this. I left this line here because probably that was my wish. Let's get from here into that resistance and let's form either a cup and handle or an inverse head and shoulders. We are getting the second one potentially if we close this week. The closer we get to 16 by closing basis, the better. Then we can complete this pattern. Let's remove the white now. It's not going to be an inverse head and shoulders. It's going to be more closer to a cup and handle, but the effect is the same. Basically, the target is the high of the pattern. And let's calculate that. So from the neck, assuming we close there and we get the breakout, then that target reaches precisely the order block here in the middle, which is at $25.40. And yeah, momentum is saying that's a kind of higher likelihood at the moment. So let's see the healthiness of the coin. We got a breakout in here as well. On longs are stepping in. Now we are at 55 on longs. Last time we managed to get 60, and the previous time, that is February 2024, we got into 72. Those are kind of the highs. That is where it could get really overheated. So watch out from this range of 53 into 73. I'm not saying we get to 73, but the highest we get in here, the higher is the risk. So hopefully you are already allocated. If you are not, you are looking for a pullback to ride the wave to the top of that range. In terms of socials, let's see where more or less is the lows of socials. So socials kind of bottom around 33 in average. We have had a move to 009. That was the time where no one was talking about Injective on social networks in 21st of October. At that point, let's see what was the price doing at that point. It was at the lows of $16. So now we are at around getting closer to $16, but from the bottom, kind of doing that recovery move so far. And what is the risk of entering now late? The risk is that last week we closed at 47 RSI, and this week is just in progress. It has moved all of that up. But this week, if things don't go as expected, it can come back below, and it's just a rejection of resistance. So you're trading a breakout that is not confirmed, and it can drag you back down, and it can still put a higher low, and it still takes you out of your trade. It moves you out of the way. You go to RSI 40, and then you break out from lower. That is the risk. It's not a forecast. I'm just saying what could go wrong. That could go wrong. If you get to 40 RSI, then the price moves probably around the $10 around here. And then the longs get another chance to push against resistance again. Let's go with another coin. So last one to appear in the chat is called Flare. I don't know if that thing exists or if it's A joke? Never heard about that. Well, there's one that is called Fly, and it spells at Flare with ARE. So it's not the same. So if you can confirm that coin, I can do it later. In the meantime, I'm going to look up for Axelar, which I never heard before either. What's going on, guys? You're coming up with so many new coins I never heard. And this definitely I haven't done anything with this because there's nothing in the chart. But you can see that still against resistance, there hasn't been breakout. Let's see the price. Price is doing a breakout. RSI is not. I don't like that. I don't like that, but sometimes it survives that. Let's look for areas of support and resistance. Yeah, more or less here. There you go. With that rejection there, which is critical with this RSI. And what are we doing here? This was listed when? In February 2023. In between, I need to find another level that is meaningful and I'm not BSing too much. I think it's 65, I will say. That's kind of a halfway through this area. Previous accumulation occurred between 66 and 30, a range of 36. Then the second accumulation, more or less around that range, it happened again. Now we are back to that range, but we are back to the lows of October 2023. And we are breaking out, but 3 weeks in a row going lower. And volume is shy when it meets with the resistance. So there's something here, that is not meeting the checkbox of momentum breaking out first, that is already kind of affecting this. We can still get a breakout on the RSI here, but we need to prove now that we are not going to put a lower low in the RSI, because this has done this low, this high, then a lower low here, a lower high. We don't want to continue like that, right? And we don't want to fake out and look for a new range below 35 cents. That's kind of the risk at the moment. And that's why, I stay away from setups where things don't follow my rules by the book. Socials are extremely flat and it doesn't even oscillate to the upside. So there's something that keeps this axle with no one caring about it. It's almost like they got disappointed and no one came back ever to talk about it in social networks. So I ignore in what way they got disappointed, but also longs are coming down and not showing any sign of interest. If you see zigzag on longs versus shorts, there is activity, but this breakout, put it at test at least. Do not just assume, breakout, let's put a huge long in here. No, there are some signs that say that things are not looking that great. And I got a request for Tesla. This time is a stock, and since I like sometimes jumping out of the world of crypto. By the way, I need to go to indices and I'm going to do a quick look at Tesla. Someone was asking me for MicroStrategy, and this is monthly. And I think I had a setup on the monthly. I say that was the area of value, that RSI 50 on the monthly. I say that around March, or maybe a little bit earlier when we were coming to this area. And I say that on the weekly is also value because it's support on weekly here at 26, at 32, and at 35. And I identify that range and I show that range in the price. And I think I say that the area of value was between 238 and 300. That was the area to buy Tesla. It went a little bit further away. It went to 214 and it pinched multiple times the next level of support. So I was off by $30 here in finding the bottom. If you can forgive that, then we went up from there and we crossed the $300. And let's see, let's use a good old Fibonacci extension, and let's do this, and let's see how far we are. Let's leave that as a potential bullish target in here, but I also want to use a normal Fibonacci retracement, and let me put it upside down like this and see how much we have recovered so far. So far we have recovered to, I'm putting it upside down, sorry. I always do this upside down. If you've been watching the channel for how many months I do this upside down, I don't know. We are entering the golden pocket between 0.5 and 0.618. So the top of the 618 is $381. If we have managed to get to 0.5, that's already bullish. If we get to golden pocket, it is very bullish. That's a big, decent recovery that could be hinting that there's still upside to be had in here, in terms of a target for this swing. And that target could be possibly the top of this at RSI 71. Yeah, just because we bounce from here, right? So this says, actually, we need to move the line. So it's a little bit higher. It's 77, actually, because that faked out to the upside and it's no longer valid to place it against that one. So it's at 77. Let's say we move in this direction and we reach 77. And let's see where that is in the price. 77. And let's hope that to the upside, I'm not those $30-40 off. Well, no, it's not bad. I mean, come on, don't complain. 557 will be a move into the top of the range, and crossing this, what is it called, the golden pocket, is a good sign that is doable because we have already recovered a lot. There is a small gap in here at $308 to keep an eye for. What's going to happen with that gap? Are we going to fill it or not? I will keep it in the list of risk to acknowledge. Right. The coin was Flare. Let's go and look at Flare. Yeah, that one. We cannot do weekly. We're going to have to drop it. So up until here, there was a healthy move, and it started retracing aggressively from here. So from 14th of May, we had a breakdown, and socials are getting interested in the coin, somehow getting some traction. People are searching for it and talking about it more than this whole range where we started moving lower. Is that because we are getting into an area of interest, or is something that they're releasing? I don't know, but where is support? So support, the immediate support should be around there, although we already put a close below that. And it's very difficult really to do TA on a coin so newly listed. This was listed early April. We get next levels of support. Yeah, there's a confluence here between this high and that low. So if you fail the 18, you could go to 17. That sounds like I'm not telling you much. There is not much range in here. It's very difficult to do DA. I mean, who am I lying to? This is just so narrow. There's a breakdown, and I will be probably monitoring if we can break above this, but it's so difficult to do TA on this coin. You got a channel, very narrow, just moving like this. and I will be monitoring if we can break from the daily there at around 54. If these socials are spiking and they can do something to the momentum, maybe it's going to hold these levels and start reverting to the upside. But much point of reference to do a lot of TA on this is almost impossible. Let's do Solana USDT. That was a request. That was a request from Siddharth Shingare. There's no way I'm going to pronounce that properly, but that's okay. Okay, Solana. Oh my God, Solana. When are you going to break this $180? It's every week I do the same TA that we are trying to break the $180, and that support is at 160, and that's still the case. There's no news on this. There's still nothing changing. There's a little bit of a move slightly lower below the most bullish support, but that's not necessarily going to make it fail. It's just something to keep an eye on, because we started very pronounced to the upside on the weekly, but that started kind of rolling over a little bit. And that's something that we can probably see a bit better if we drop the time frame. If we go here, and it's not broken yet. It's just far from the support. So it's just taking a lot longer than it should to break the $180. Probably there's a lot of people trading that, but it's a bullish pattern. If I will focus on what could fail here to put some checkpoints to say, okay, this is going to take a lot longer. But so far, this is just there against the resistance. It's doing what is healthy. If we start breaking 160, we put the whole setup a little bit at risk. But you can see here we made a move from 180 all the way to 129, and we came back to 180. So it is even doable to go that low and put kind of extended right shoulder somewhere lower, and then come back to 180 and do it again. I think the coin should have a comeback. It's been punished just too badly. Let's see how the socials are doing. Starting to wake up in the socials. So that's great, from the lows of 8.5% of social dominance, which is big already, but that's the bottom for Solana. Well, it's been quieter than that. In October 2024, it reached 1%. And it's been louder than that at 16%. Now we are at 10, and it's kind of curving up. So maybe it's going to have a comeback in the socials. The longs versus shorts. Let's look at this in the weekly. I prefer to do the weekly. Yeah, I can see why. So in the last analysis, I say we are at the highs of longs. So there has to be some pullback. Has it been ever higher? Yes, but it's in 2021. During the bull cycle, which we could say starts from 2022, it's been at 61 longs and 65. That's the highest. And we are now at 65. So this is the time where if we are going to make a record, we have to do it to go up. We need to put a new record in longs to be able to continue up. Otherwise, we get another pullback, and we already have one, and the longs are very, very sticky to this area. They really don't want to let it go, because it moved from 187 back down to 159, and still the longs versus shorts didn't drop. It just actually it increased more from 62 to 65. So they don't want to go. So it needs a bigger move down to allow room for new longs to enter and to push the price higher. But again, no financial advice, just saying what the stats are showing. And I might be missing a big portion of the data that is not in front of my eyes now. And we're going to call it. It's more than 1 hour, a 1 hour, 15 minutes. I hope you appreciate the live stream. We're going to do another one on Thursday, but on Thursday it's going to be for elite members. on my Patreon that can request any coin and do any questions in a smaller group, so you get guaranteed that if you vote for your coin, that I'm gonna review it. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye bye.